Another funny story is at that time, but I think it's like 2006 or 7, we were
Wow.
actually burning CD-ROMs with website on it.
So you were at Novactive as an intern, and you stayed there for many years, right? After university.
Yeah.
What was your experience like working on Easy Publish in those early days?
Yeah, so as you mentioned, it was really the early days, right? So beginning of the CMSs, we jumped on it. We were part of the first one doing pretty good project in France on Easy Publish. So we really were focused on it. The company grows. When I was an intern, we were like 7, maybe 3 developers, two project manager, and the designer, and pretty much did like 7 to 8. 15 years later, we got acquired. We're like more than 200. So during those years, we've done many things. We got the opportunity to open different entity in different countries. So like Tunisia, Montreal, Canada, Montreal. We did many things, right? So, but yeah, CMSs was really the way for us because this is what the client wanted at that time, right now. Government agency, um, client, even for e-commerce, we were actually using CMSs, right? So you can get the content close to the product.
Right. That's that's cool. Yeah. So then Easy Publish, you worked
Mhm.
on that. That's like the an open source like
Yeah.
enterprise PHP content management solution. Dive more into that. Like, did you guys build that from the ground up, or what was your journey with that?
Yeah, sure. So we were not using this one at the beginning, and of course, client, especially in government, they put you in competition with other agency, right? And at some point, they also got expert on the side. They're asking other companies that are expert into what's going on to pick the correct tool for their correct use case. So we were at that situation where our own client was actually doing a competition, and they wanted to use this other tool that we didn't know, Easy Publish, right? So we had to deep dive into this tool to understand, to keep the client, because it was a big client.
Right.
So we actually, focused for 2 weeks to understand, and we built a very simple version of our client website using the publish to be able to win that competition and keep the client. And that was key for Novactive because then we kept this big client and we become some kind of expert on Easy Publish with which become Easy Platform afterwards. Now it's Ibexa. But yeah, we were expert in France. We were not the only one, right? But yeah, it allows us to do so many different kind of projects. And also, it was not just about that, right? We really believe at that time that this CMS was kind of ahead of the competition because it was object oriented. It was prepared for performances. We could scale. It was easy to install, etc., etc. I don't know if that answered the
No,
question.
no, that does. That's it. That's very cool. It's just it's interesting to learn about those older projects in or not older projects, like the older ideas of that stuff and how it's evolved to like today, where really most of the kind of core principles of it, like the object oriented and stuff like that, have kind of stayed true. So it's interesting to hear about.
Yeah, yeah. This one was really cool because, for instance, the database model of the CMS didn't move for like 15 years. So it was so well built at the very beginning that it could last for many, many years. If you compare with other CMSs, I don't know, WordPress, Drupal, those are kind of projects where every 2 years you will kind of throw it away, use the last version, and start again, right? Which is okay, right? With the publish, it was usually other kind of project where you would keep the client and the project for a long time. It was not headless, but was kind of headless in a way where you would keep the content model, you would keep the data, you would keep the database, and then you just revamp the front end. It was architectured this way, which was kind of cool.
Yeah, I still have PTSD from my experience migrating old WordPress websites to newer versions and then encountering issues with like database migrations. I feel you on that. It's very interesting that a database model could last that long.
Oh yeah, I mean, of course, some stuff I've evolved, but yeah, the concept were stayed there for a while. And also the migration path, as you mentioned, right? It was really important for us and in general, right? When you want to upgrade a product that you don't have to revamp everything, right? You don't want any breaking chains. But how do you do that with this? How do you do that with a CMS where it's not headless? You are using the engine to build the front end, and you can tweak some part of the code of the CMS. So what happens if you upgrade? So they had a very good process, and they tried to isolate and decouple everything early stage. And yeah, we really liked it, and we really focused on it. We won some awards and stuff like that down the line. So that was cool.
Yeah, that's super cool. So, out of all that stuff that you worked on, what were some like the biggest standout projects that you worked on while you're at Novactive? Like, is
Yeah.
there like one where you were like, man, this was like the best?
Yeah, definitely. I don't know. You must have read some stuff, but yeah, the biggest is The Economist, the newspaper. The big the economic things. We actually rebuilt the subscription system with Easy Publish. At that time, it was it still Easy Publish or it was Easy Platform? But yeah, we did this big project. It was one of the biggest projects we ever worked on, and it was more than just Easy Publish, right? Easy Publish was there for the content, to build the product, to build the content model, but of course, the users and the payment system, the subscription system. It was a lot of different tools interconnected, right? But yeah, even the front end was not really Easy Publish at that time, I think. The front end was Drupal, if I remember. The back end was Easy Publish. Then the payment was of things. Subscription system was kind of on the side as well. So it was a very huge project. Yeah.
Kind of surprised to hear Drupal was used on the front end. That does not make sense to me, to be perfectly honest with you.
Yeah, but I don't think it is anymore. But it was, yeah, it was definitely.
Very interesting. So you've spent quite a few years with Novactive,
Yeah.
and I understand that you've also helped the company expand internationally as it was growing. Can you tell us a little bit about your experience with that?
Yeah, sure. Well, at some point in those days, a lot of people were talking about offshore, right? Offshoring to be able to grow faster, because obviously the price are a little bit less expensive if you actually go to other countries, right? Especially from France, where you might know that taxes and stuff in France is kind of higher. I mean, California is pretty big as well, right? Anyway, so offshore. So we built the team in Tunisia at first. We ended up with like a team of 20, 25 developers there. And that was quite cool. A little bit hard as well to work with people, different culture, not exactly the same ways of doing things. It was cool for me because I was doing the back and forth. So every two months I would go there, do some kind of training to the team. Some people were coming as well. And we did that, yeah, in Tunisia, and then Montreal. Then we had a team in Ukraine, and then we did the US. It's kind of the genesis, the start of the US, right? I was going back and forth everywhere, and at some point I was like, maybe I want to be the next guy moving away and go somewhere else. And this is how we ended up in San Francisco.
I would be quite curious to hear about the San Francisco part specifically.
Right? Yeah. No, that's what I was just about to say. I was like, that seems like you went all over the world and then just ended in one place. What's the
Well, first, if you come from France, San Francisco is a city. I mean, it's not the only one, right? But the biggest city in the US are kind of, you're excited about them, right?
right?
Then you have all the tech industry in San Francisco. So if you are kind of a geek slash nerd slash developer like me, San Francisco has a specific taste, right? And so that's definitely one topic. Then it was making sense for the business to actually be all over the world, because we could reach different clients. At that time, we were also doing hosting, so we would have the full worldwide time zone with people working. So business hour was like 24/7. That was cool, and yeah, that's why we decided to try it out. And in 2014, we actually started the process to open the business in here, and